I'm Drae Baker, Certified Behavior Consultant and owner of Dogwit Training. Welcome to Dogwit's Home for the Holidays workshop. For this workshop, you'll need your dog, a pet bed or mat, and a large quantity of high-value treats, or you could use your dog's dinner. That's it. I have a question for you. What is your biggest holiday worry with your dog? Are you worried that they're going to knock over the Christmas tree? Jump all over Great Aunt Ethel? Steal all of the holiday candy? In this workshop, we'll look at preventative strategies for managing all of that holiday stress. We'll look at safety. We'll teach a couple of handy skills. And we'll even work on a few cute tricks. I'll often tell our pet parents, all you need is one solid skill. Why just one? Well, if you've got something you can count on, you've got your dog. You can help them through tough situations. They have something that they can do that's polite in any environment. Now, if you don't have one solid skill yet, that's okay. That's why we're here. In this workshop, we're going to work on the down. I like the down because it's a settled cue. And when we have the craziness of the holiday season around us, a settled cue is perfect. Down is one of my favorite skills for building self-control and for helping a dog to settle. To begin, ask your dog for a sit. You're halfway there. Place the lure in front of your dog's nose and bring it straight down to the ground. Slowly drag it out along the ground to help them stretch out. Your yes comes when the elbows and the belly touch the ground. Straight down with the lure, drag it out a little bit. Yes, and reward. As your dog becomes familiar with this movement, you can start to exaggerate your hand. Stand up a little bit straighter, make your movement a little bit bigger. Stand up a bit straighter and your movement a little bit bigger. Over and over again until you can stand fully upright and do a full hand signal for down. Once you've got this, it's time to lose the lure. Place the food into your pocket or into your bait bag. Do the full hand signal just as you've been doing. Yes, and reward by pulling the food out of your bag. Full hand signal, yes, and reward. Full hand signal, yes, and reward. Let's talk about the tree. If this is your first year with a dog in the home, we want to make sure to take some precautions so that the tree stays nice and our dog stays safe. Let's look at securing that tree. We might want to run a fishing line or other type of string from the top of the tree to a hook in the ceiling. This way we have a little bit of extra support. That tree can't topple. When it comes to using some string for things, you might find it's handy to tie your ornaments to the tree rather than using the little hangers. This way the ornaments aren't going to fall off if your new dog happens to bump the tree or if they think that they're fun toys. If you have cats in the home, this is a great strategy so that they're not batting the ornaments off the tree. If you have some decorations that are more precious or fragile, you may want to consider securing them at the top part of the tree. This way, they're out of reach. Again, you can use ribbon or string so that they're secure to the branches and less likely to fall off. Sometimes we might end up with a dog who's very curious about the tree. We can prevent them from having access to the tree by either using X pens, so exercise pens around the tree, or if you want to get a bit more decorative, fireplace screens or decorative picket fences. This way you still have the decor, but the tree is safe and your dog is safe. There's a great lifestyle training tip that we use all the time. We We call it Ditch the Bowl. Now in this program, we're redistributing the way we feed our dogs. Typically, we give our dogs their food in 1, 2, maybe 3 great big lumps throughout the day. When we ditch the bowl, we're redistributing the food. We're spreading it out all day long so we can use it for training. We can use it for teaching our dogs how to behave in different situations. We can use it on walks so that our dogs get better at walking on leash. We can use it in the home, in puzzle toys and in Kongs to manage behavior, help our dogs stay calm, and to give them some enrichment and mental exercise. When you redistribute that food, you're using it all day long. You've got treats that last the whole day, and you can imagine how good your dog's behavior is when they're being consistently rewarded for good choice after good choice after good choice. You can also use the ditch the bowl concepts for times when you're having a family dinner, a big holiday feast. We can prepare ahead of time things like frozen stuffed Kongs so that our dogs have something appropriate to do while we're sitting at the dining room table eating. This way, the dog is having fun, they're preoccupied, they're being rewarded, they're calm and they're quiet, and they're not trying to steal your turkey. The holidays can be a busy time with lots of people coming and going, or maybe it's just you coming and going and you have parcels and packages, groceries and decorations. We want to help our dogs understand how to properly say hello when someone is coming through the door. It's very common for dogs to jump when someone comes to say hello. This is because dogs are very social animals. They want to say hi. They want to interact with us. They want to receive attention. Of course, as a human, we don't particularly like it when dogs clobber us to say hello. We want to teach them a more appropriate and polite way to greet someone. My favorite way to teach a dog how to say hello nicely is to work on an incompatible behavior, something that if they're jumping, they can't do, and if they're doing it, they can't jump. This way, we can create a solid alternate behavior for our dogs. They end up having a go-to behavior that works to say hello and to get the attention that they're looking for, but it's incompatible with the jump. A great skill for this is a sit. A sit is a simple skill and most dogs know it, so it's a great go-to. To teach your dog to do a sit instead of a jump, all you're going to do is walk through your door and get ready to cue the sit before your dog has had the opportunity to jump. So they might be running right at you. Your job is to cue the sit, and if they sit, fantastic. Let's pull out some cookies from our pocket. Let's give them some praise and pets. If they jump, we're just going to step back, ignore them for a second, and then try to cue the sit again. We'll give them another chance to get it right. Now you can superpower this greeting skill by practicing it frequently. Try going out the door and then come back in. Ask for that sit. Reward it when it happens. Then do it again. Pop back out the door, come on back in, ask for that sit. In and out, and you're going to find that your dog starts to sit automatically as soon as you come through the door. Once your dog can do this successfully and reliably with you, start to try it with other people in your home. Then you can start to try it on guests. Sit is an important skill for your dog to know. We'll begin by teaching a hand signal. Start by placing your lure in front of your dog's nose. Bring it up and just over their head so that their head tilts back. When the head goes back, the bum is going to go down. As soon as their bum touches the ground, that's your yes and reward. So again, we're going to hold our lure in our hand, place that lure in front of our dog's nose, tilt the head back, bum goes down, yes, and reward. When you're teaching this, you want to make sure you're not saying the word sit. That's going to come in later. For now, we're just focusing on some body language. So again, food in front of the nose, tilt the head back, bum goes down, yes, and reward. Once your dog has done this a few times successfully, you're going to start to exaggerate the movement with your hand. Just make it a little bit bigger. As long as your dog's bum still touches the ground, yes, and reward, and then make it a little bit bigger again. If your dog doesn't get it right, hold out for a second. Stay nice and still, see if they'll figure it out. If not, you might have just gone a little bit too fast with the movement. So slow it down, go back to a spot where your dog was having success, and then go from there. When your dog is successfully following this full hand signal, then you can start to lose the lure. Place the food in your pocket or your bait bag and make the hand signal just as you were before. Your dog will follow your hand. When their bum touches the ground, yes, and then pull out the food to reward them. If they're not quite sure, hold that position, give them a chance to think about it, yes, and reward when they get it right. And of course, if they struggle, you can always go back a couple of steps to where they last had success and build it from there. Holidays are a time of abundance with food everywhere. We have big feasts with turkey and mashed potatoes. We have chocolates and sweets and candies and other delights. You can imagine how tempting this is for a dog. Make sure that you're not leaving any of these food items unattended. We want to ensure all food and sweets and treats stays out of reach so that our dogs cannot accidentally make an error and snag one of these items. We do this so that we don't lose our treats, but we also do it so that our dogs stay safe and happy and don't become ill. The biggest piece of prevention you can do when it comes to the holiday food is keep it out of reach. And don't forget, the Ditch the Bowl activities allow you to fill stuffed Kong toys so that you have something for your dog to do instead when it's time for you to prepare meals or when you're sitting down to your holiday feast. Now, we can't all be perfect, and sometimes your dog will snag something. It's a good idea to have a skill that's already practiced. That means whatever's in your mouth, you need to let it go. To teach a solid drop it, we use the trading game. It's wise to practice this game a lot so that if you ever do need it in a real life situation, it's well practiced, it's learned, and it's automatic. Now, the trading game is simple. When our dog has something in their mouth, we're going to trade them for something better. And sometimes they even get the first thing back. Let's watch it in action. Welcome to the trading game. Drop it. In this game, we're going to trade our dogs some tasty treats for the item that's already in their mouth. You can use a fun toy to play this game to start with. You can see Briscoe's got his toy in his mouth, and we're making it fun by doing a little bit of tug with it. And then I'm going to tell him, drop it, and present the food. So he has a choice to make. Does he hold on to the toy, or does he choose the yummy food? As soon as he spits out the toy, we can say yes, and reward. And you can see as the video goes on, he's releasing that toy faster and faster. You'll start to notice that when you say the words drop it, your dog will let go of the toy before you even bring the food out. Oh, what a stretch! As you work on this game, you'll gradually increase the value of the item in your dog's mouth. It might be a favorite toy, it might be a new toy. You can move up to things like a bully stick or a Kong. Your goal is to always trade for something better. You'll also have lots of success if you let your dog have the item back after the trade. Pull, Briscoe, pull! Hi, can you drop it? Oh, not good enough? Now I think it's time we had a little fun. Let's teach our dogs a new trick. This trick is called, Have You Been Good This Year? Diego, have you been good this year? Yes. Good boy. Diego, have you been good this year? To teach this trick, hold some food in front of your dog's nose. Ask them, have you been good this year? If you'd like to teach them yes, use the food to lure their head up and down, and then reward. If the answer is no, lure it side to side. You could also use the question, have you been naughty? Yes. Diego, have you been good this year? Yes. Have you been good? Pressy, have you been good this year? Now that your dog understands down, we can start to use it in a bigger context. We can use it as a piece of a larger skill. The skill we're going to talk about is settle on a mat. Having a place where our dogs can go that's away from all of the hustle and bustle is a great safety skill. It's also good for their emotional and their mental well-being. Lots of people, visitors, kids, guests, it can be overwhelming for your dog. We want to make sure that they have a safe space where they can have some quiet time away from the action. And we can teach our dogs to go to their mat on a cue, and when they get there, to settle and relax. I like to ensure that the people in the home, especially the kids, understand that when our dog is laying on their mat, that's a no-touch time. This is a time where our dogs get to have their alone time, their private time. It's a great strategy for ensuring that your dog isn't becoming overwhelmed. Now, sometimes going and laying on a mat isn't quite quiet enough. It's not enough of a break for your dog. If you have a really busy household, lots of kids, and there's gifts to open, that can be a lot of energy for a dog to handle. You will want to make sure that you have a couple of contingency plans in place. We want to have a plan B, plan C, maybe even a plan D. Perhaps you've done a lot of work crate training your dog and they're comfortable in their kennel. This could be a great alternate solution if your dog is starting to feel overwhelmed. Maybe you can designate a family member to take your dog on a walk when it's getting a little bit busy. This way they can decompress and your dog can come back feeling energized and ready to visit again. Just like with Settle on a Mat, if we're using the crate as an opportunity for our dog to have some alone time and to get away from the hustle and the bustle, we need to make sure that the people in the home, and especially the kids, understand that the dog is to be left alone when they're in their quiet space. We want to make sure that our dogs can take this time to decompress and relax and not feel the pressure of having to say hello to everyone all the time. Teaching your dog to go to their bed and settle on cue is pretty easy. We're going to start by giving the cue. Go to your bed. Then we'll toss the food onto their bed. So this is like a lure. It lets them know where they need to go. When they get to the bed, the food is there and they're rewarded for it. Keep doing this. Give the cue, toss the food, give the cue, toss the food, and soon you'll see your dog moving to that bed on cue. Once you've practiced this, the next step is to give your cue and pause. Does your dog know what to do? If not, go back to the beginning and repeat the food toss. If your dog does know what to do, the next step is asking them for a sit or a down while they are on their bed or mat. This is a nice settled position. You can start to repeat this sequence. Give the cue, go to your bed. Once they arrive on their bed, give them some praise, ask for that sit or a down, and give the reward. When you're ready to set the exercise up again, give them a release word like okay or all done, and encourage them to get up and come off of the bed so you can practice it again. So we give the cue, go to your bed, wait. When they get to their bed, ask for a sit or a down, and then reward. As your dog starts to understand the skill, start to give long-lasting rewards to help encourage them to settle. This would include items like stuffed Kong toys, maybe a bully stick, anything that is really wonderful for your dog and takes them a long time to work on. This long-lasting chew also really reinforces that entire sequence. Let's see what it looks like when it's just about finished. We'll give Diego the cue. He goes onto the bed, lays down, and we're coming in for some rewards. Really nicely done. Let's watch Briscoe do it. We'll give him the cue. He's got to check to make sure I'm still coming. But there he goes, all the way from the kitchen to the living room in the bed. Well done. One thing about the holidays, there can be a lot of waste. Paper and ribbons, food wrappings and scraps. We want to make sure that our dogs remain safe with all of the waste around. Make sure that ribbons are placed in the black bin. These can become entangled in intestines should your dog ingest them. It's a good idea to use a locking garbage can. This way, food waste and wrappers can't tempt your dog. They're unable to get into the garbage. The holidays should be a time of fun, but sometimes things happen. We want to ensure we have some basic first aid knowledge, or at least the ability to identify problems when they occur. One of the most common things that could happen during the holidays is an accidental poisoning. With all of the different food items around, it's easy to see why this can happen. It's a good idea to have numbers of poison control lines available so that should something happen, you're prepared to contact the right people right away. Signs of poisoning can include vomiting, difficulties breathing, convulsions, or excessive drooling. Again, make sure you have numbers handy so that you can call the appropriate places should you suspect something has happened. Here are some items that you might find around the house during the holidays that are toxic to your dog. This list includes different foods as well as some plants. It's a good idea to become familiar with this so that you can ensure these items stay out of reach. With all of the excitement, the stress, and the food around, another potential first aid emergency could be bloat. Bloat is a very serious condition and it has to be treated immediately by an emergency vet. Bloat is a condition where the stomach twists and nothing can go in or out, so the stomach swells and fills with gas. This condition can be fatal within hours. Signs of bloat could include pawing at the mouth, trying to vomit, trying to go to the bathroom, or just inability to settle. Sometimes the signs are very subtle. As the condition worsens, you might notice a distended stomach, everything feels swollen and bloated, and you might start to see that your dog loses color in their mouth. I cannot stress enough, this is an emergency condition and your dog needs to go to the vet right away. Another potential first aid situation would be a dog that is choking. A choking dog likely will make retching noises, may paw at their mouth, and may even make heaving motions without a lot of audible sound. They may be pacing and they will likely look panicked. If you suspect that your dog may be choking, the first thing you need to do is examine their mouth. Pull the tongue out and look to see if there's anything lodged inside the mouth. If you see a foreign object in the mouth or in the throat, use your finger to sweep it out. If you cannot see the foreign object, you can use the canine Heimlich maneuver to dislodge the obstruction. It's a very wise idea to make a list of the emergency veterinarians in your area. At the end of this workshop, you'll see a list of emergency vets in Calgary, Canada. That's where we are. If you're not in Calgary, look them up. Who's the closest? What are their hours? What's the address? The phone number? Make sure it's written down and is accessible. I think it's time to teach another trick. Let's do touch. Touch is an easy trick to teach and most dogs love it. In this trick, your dog's nose just bops the palm of your hand. It seems like a pretty simple action, and it is, but it's the building block to complex tricks. It can help close a recall if your dog doesn't quite make it to you, and it's a great way to say hello to new guests. Touch is such a fun trick. In this trick, your dog's nose will bop the palm of your hand. It's easy to teach. All you're going to do is say, touch, and then place your hand in front of your dog's nose, maybe about an inch away. Dogs are naturally curious. Your dog will likely touch the palm of your hand. When they do, say yes and reward them. If you find that your dog isn't quite going for it, you can make it a bit easier by holding a piece of food in between your fingers or underneath your thumb. This way, it's a little bit more enticing for your dog.
Ready? Touch. Yes. Touch. Yes.
As your dog gets better at this skill and they're reliably touching your hand with their nose, you can start to move your hand further away. Move it side to side, maybe have it up in the air so they have to jump up a bit, or down low so they have to crouch down. You can play all sorts of games with using the touch and build all sorts of new tricks. Tricks like closing the door, turning out the lights, even getting a drink from the fridge all begin with touch.
Good job. Good job. That's so good. Are you ready? Touch. Yes. Touch. Yes. Briscoe, touch. You got touch. Yes. Touch. Yes.
Remember that prevention and management go a long way in ensuring a successful holiday season. Set up your home so that your dog will be successful. We want it easy for them to make good decisions and almost impossible for them to get into trouble. After all, we want to keep them on Santa's nice list. Use tools such as stuffed Kongs to help your dog make better choices. These items can keep them from being underfoot, can keep them from stealing the turkey, and can help them feel happy and settled when there's a lot of stuff going on around them. Remember to work on one solid skill, if nothing else. The down is a great choice, but if your dog's pretty good at sit, that's a good one too. Anything that you can count on, no matter the situation. It's always a good idea to become familiar with the way dogs communicate. Understanding how body language works will give you the heads up if your dog is starting to feel overwhelmed, over-aroused, or uncomfortable. I recommend the website ispeakdog.org. It's a great resource for learning about how your dog communicates. It is a wise puppy parent that has their veterinarian's information written down and accessible. Make sure you have the information for your dog's regular vet and your closest 24-hour emergency vet. Having this information at your fingertips could save you precious time and potentially your dog's life. Thank you for joining us in our holiday workshop. I hope you have loads of ideas to keep your dog's holiday safe, happy, and very, very merry. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and brightest Yule from all of us at Dogwit. From our homes to yours, we wish you the very best of the holiday season. One solid skill. Where are you? Yeah.